In this video, I'm going to go into 2 different visualization techniques that you can use to manage pressure during games. Now, with both of these techniques, you want to start in the same way. This is going to be your warm-up. So much like, when you're going to do any other kind of training within your sport, whether it's strength training, whether it's practicing, you're going to do a warm-up to get your body ready to train, right? With this visualization, we want to do a warm-up to get your mind ready to visualize so we can make this as impactful as possible. We aren't just imagining something randomly. We are performing this visualization with a very specific purpose to help you manage pressure. So what you want to do first for your warm-up is you want to get yourself into a comfortable position, either sitting down or lying down. Close your eyes and take about 5 to 10 deep breaths. If you have some time, I honestly encourage you to do maybe a few minutes of some mindfulness meditation at this point to really calm yourself down. Once you've gotten into that nice and relaxed state, now you can start visualizing. So you've got your mind kind of blank, calm. Now we're going to create this scene. So for technique number 1, this is going to be where we begin changing your self-perception, which means we're going to change the way that you see yourself in relation to these pressure-filled moments. So what you can do is you can create the scene in your mind when you feel the most pressure. For example, if you're a basketball player and you feel the most pressure when you're taking the ball up the court and you're getting pressured by the defense, that's the scene that you want to create in your mind. As you create that scene, you want to generate the emotions that you normally feel. I know this may seem weird, but what we're going to actually do is we're going to switch those. So we have to first generate those feelings how we normally feel. So feel anxious, tense, stressed. Maybe you're doubting yourself. Maybe you're fearful. Get into that state. Then what you want to do is you want to flip it. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel relaxed? Do you want to feel like you're trusting yourself and you're playing aggressively? Get into that optimal emotional state. Once you're in that optimal emotional state, imagine yourself performing the scene as well as you can, right? So if you're taking the ball up the court, we'll go back to that example. Imagine yourself, dribble past the defenders, or imagine yourself make a nice pass and then maybe you cut to the basket and you score. Just visualize the scene how you want it to go. As you're doing so, make sure that you still feel that relaxed state, you still feel confident, because what we're really doing right here is we're working to connect an emotional state, or a new emotional state specifically, with this scene where you normally feel pressure. Because when you're feeling pressure, it's not necessarily the pressure itself that is causing you to underperform. It is the emotions you feel in relation or in response to the pressure, right? Because there are some athletes who perform really well under pressure because the emotions they have in response to pressure, or the reaction they have, is more positive. Maybe they play a little bit more focused or more aggressively. They love that pressure. But for you right now, if you don't and that pressure is holding you back, we know that we need to generate different emotions in relation to that pressure, and that's what this visualization can really help with. The next visualization technique is about getting you into a relaxed state whenever you're experiencing pressure. Now, this one's going to actually be broken up into 2 different phases. So phase number 1 is where we are training this visualization outside of the game, outside of practice. So this is something you're going to do maybe in your house, in your dorm room, or just, wherever you can where you're not actually playing. The second part of it is where you're going to use this visualization in the moment when you're feeling the pressure. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to create a really relaxing scene. So once again, when you've done the breathing, you've closed your eyes, you're in that comfortable position and everything, you're ready to visualize, then I want you to bring the most relaxing scene you can think of into your mind. Maybe it's you're sitting on the beach, you have the waves crashing or just brushing on shore, and that really relaxes you. Maybe you imagine a waterfall. Maybe you imagine walking through nature. Maybe you imagine playing with your dog. What you're doing here is you're imagining a very relaxing scene, the most relaxing scene to you. Now, as you imagine that relaxing scene, what's going to happen is you're going to feel a feeling of calmness that you would normally feel in that moment. Then what I want you to do is I want you to select a word that really means that feeling, if that makes sense, right? A word that is going to exemplify the feeling of that calm, that serenity that you feel when you're imagining the relaxing scene. For example, maybe you imagine yourself sitting on the beach, and once again, you have the waves brushing or washing ashore. So maybe the word that you think of is waves, right? That just kind of means the emotional state that you're feeling. So what you can do with this word then is, as you're visualizing this scene, once again, in your house or in your dorm room, and you're visualizing yourself in this relaxing environment, you start repeating the word waves, waves, waves. What's happening is that you're anchoring that word to the scene. This is known as anchoring. Then what you can do when you're going into a game, or when you're going into a pressure-filled situation specifically, is you can imagine that scene, right? So you can kind of bring that scene into your mind, but more specifically, you can start repeating that word. And if you've really done this well and you have anchored that word to that feeling through the visualization, when you're actually in the moment, you're going to be able to generate a little bit of that calm feeling and that relaxed state by repeating the word, which we know is going to be very helpful if you're feeling pressure, because one of the main reasons that pressure is going to hold you back if you're not playing well when you're feeling pressure is due to tension and anxiety. This actually works really, really well if you have some time before the situation where you're feeling pressure. For example, if you are a basketball player about to shoot a free throw, that would be a great time to begin repeating this word to yourself. If you're a baseball or a softball player and you're going up to bat, or you're in the field, or you're pitching, repeating the word to yourself before the pitch is going to help you as well. If you're a tennis player, repeating it before your serve is also going to help. A golfer, before your golf shot. But this visualization exercise helps a lot when it comes to getting you into a calmer and more relaxed state before you perform, which we know is going to help you have a more focused mindset because you're not experiencing as much anxiety or as much tension. Now, those are two visualization techniques you can use for handling pressure. Now, there are different ways that you can use visualization as an athlete, including using visualization to increase your confidence. So what I've done right here is I've linked another video that goes into detail on a visualization technique you can use to increase your confidence. So go ahead and click on that to learn how you can increase your confidence as an athlete. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training.